Good morning and welcome to the third annual Virtual Women's Veteran Symposium and Information Fair, hosted by Department of Veterans Affairs, Newark Regional Office, and Cornerstone's Operation Sisterhood. My name is Jennifer Meyers, Change Management Analyst at the Newark Regional Office and retired military and your MC for today's event. Today, you will hear from a diverse panel of speakers that will share information and key important data about various services offered by VA, as well as our community partners for our female veterans. Then we will host a total of 9 breakout seminars. Participants will have the opportunity to select 3 seminars, 1 per session. Before we get started, before we go into all of that, let's go over some basic virtual housekeeping. Please keep your phone or device on mute during the presentations. Questions may be placed in the chat or you can wait until the open discussion portion of the program. Please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Please remember to keep your questions general, as we do not want you to disclose any personal information in a public platform. Now it is my honor to introduce veteran Margie Carpenter Franklin, who will sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming. Then the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
As always, Margie Franklin, as always, thank you for that awesome rendition of our national anthem. Now we will hear welcome remarks from Elizabeth Meyers, no relations, Executive Director for Operation Sisterhood. Elizabeth, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning, Jen. I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. Also, thank you, Jen, and the panel for providing very valuable information about VA benefits. Also, thank you, Jackie and Charlie. Also, if you aren't familiar with Operation Sisterhood, I invite you to definitely check us out. We host a monthly peer support group twice a month on the 2nd and 4th Saturdays. And also we offer a variety of events and opportunities to connect with resources, knowledge, and other female veterans. Also, look to receive our 2022 activity calendar soon. We have exciting plans for equine therapy and also a Mother's Day brunch and a camping trip, and also more events. We are also launching our own YouTube channel where you will be able to find important and helpful resources. I'll put my contact information in the chat. If you have any questions, please reach out.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Jen.
At this time, I will be bringing greetings on behalf of Delasia Francis Abdullah, Director, and the men and women of the Department of Veterans Affairs Newark Regional Office. At the Newark Regional Office, over 70% of our employees are veterans. So I'm proud to say personally that we are veterans serving veterans. Our office is ranked as one of the top performing stations in the nation, and we are proud to serve the veterans in the state of New Jersey and throughout the United States. So on behalf of the Newark Regional Office, thank you for joining us. And now, is Assemblywoman Tucker on the line? Jackie, do you see Assemblywoman Tucker?
I do not.
Okay. If she joins later on in the program, we'll definitely bring her in to give remarks. At this time, though, we will go ahead and hear from Congresswoman Mikie Sherrill, who is unable to join us, physically, but she will be joining us virtually with a short video to welcome everyone and share thoughts.
Go.
Hi everyone, this is Mikie Sherril. I'm sorry I'm filming in the airport, but I really wanted to get this video out to you because this issue is so important to me. I want to thank Jennifer Meyers for inviting me to speak this morning and the VA Newark Regional Office for organizing today's event. I'd like to thank all my fellow veterans for their service to our country and really highlight the benefits we're talking about today. Whether they're provided by the federal government through the VA or a different agency or support provided by the state government, these are benefits you've earned through your sacrifice to our country. Whether you earned for a few years or most of your adult life, you answered the call to ensure our nation's security and protect our freedom, and these benefits are a result of your willingness to honorably answer that call. To share a little bit about myself, I graduated from the Naval Academy and I served in the Navy for almost 10 years. I know firsthand that a women's experience in our military and as a veteran is at times different from our male counterparts. Women have honorably served our nation alongside men to uphold our democratic values since the American Revolution. Today, women are the fastest growing segment in the veteran population, and advocating for our female veterans in Congress is one of my top priorities. Since coming to Congress, I've been working to address the military's problems with sexual assault and sexual harassment. This year, I was proud to support a National Defense Authorization Act that for the first time took military sexual assault outside of the chain of command. I think with this, these investigations are now going to ensure justice can better be served for our survivors. I'm also committed to making sure that women veterans have access to quality health care. Just a few weeks ago, I visited the Lions VA Medical Center here in New Jersey. We discussed how federal grant funding is helping expand services specific to female veterans and how it can support the staff at the New Jersey VA healthcare system. When someone decides to serve our nation in our armed forces, it's often said the whole family served. That's why I'm proud to have supported many provisions within this year's NDAA that support our military families. The 2022 NDAA increases parental leave for caregivers, including foster parents and secondary caregivers, and expands the in-home child care pilot program providing financial assistance for in-home child care. This law also helps newly transitioning service members ease into and succeed in civilian life. Many young veterans spend their time in the military living in government housing. However, when they transition, that means they often don't have a robust rental history to help them get leases. I successfully got a provision into the law that directs the Department of Defense to provide housing histories for service members when they leave on-base housing. We've all seen how the pandemic has put a strain on our mental health. and it's especially important to make sure veterans have additional mental health support. I introduced a bill that adds the Veterans Crisis Line to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. The bill funds high-quality VA staff training and management to act as both first and last line of defenses for veterans in crisis. I'm also working with Senator Booker to open a new vet center here in North Jersey. I'm committed to working so all veterans have access to high-quality mental health care. In the House, we recently passed legislation which creates presumption of service connection for as many as 3.5 million veterans who are suffering from illnesses and cancers related to toxic exposure to burn pits. This bill ensures our veterans receive help without waiting decades by strengthening the VA's process. I'll keep up my advocacy to ensure this legislation becomes law. The services available through the VA today may not have been available when you first separated or retired, so I hope those attending are able to identify new opportunities and services that improve your quality of life, healthcare, or education. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, take full advantage of this year's information fair, and hope to see you all soon. Please call my office if you have any questions or problems, and once again, thank you for your service.
Awesome, awesome. It is great to hear from our Congresswoman. I am just so pleased that she was able to take the time, although not able to join us physically, but to at least send greetings via video. So thank you. Our program for this today, we will have presentations. We will hear from a variety of individuals, to include the Deputy Director. Can you hear me? Do I sound muffled? No? Okay, I'm sorry. To include the Deputy Director for the Center for Women Veterans. We will hear about various VA services and community partner resources. Then we'll have some open discussion, and then we're going to go into some dynamic breakout sessions. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce our keynote speaker for this morning. Elizabeth Estabrooks is currently the deputy at the Department of Veterans Affairs Center for Women Veterans. She is a Cold War era Army veteran. Prior to coming to the VA, Elizabeth served as the Oregon Women Veterans Coordinator with the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs, where she's working on relevant issues that include domestic violence, sexual assault, military sexual assault, peer support services, community safety, gender and culturally responsive services, and adult learning. She holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Gender Studies and Political Science from Eastern Oregon University, where she graduated summa cum laude, and a Master's of Science in Social Work from Columbia University. She was appointed to the Department of Veterans Affairs 2012 National Domestic Violence Task Force and was a 2013 Fisher Cummings Washington, D.C. Fellow. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce to you the Deputy at the Department of Veterans Affairs Center for Women's Veterans, Elizabeth Estabrooks. Ma'am, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate you having me here today at this great event. And I didn't know that your VMAC was one of the best. It's always wonderful to hear that news. I come from Portland, Oregon, and had the great privilege of being at one of the best there in the country too. And for women veterans, that means a lot. So congratulations on the wonderful work. I'll have to come visit one of these days. I do have, it says I can't, somebody else is sharing and I can't screen share while somebody else is sharing. Oh, here we go. Let's see. I need to find my, here we go. Sorry, I got a new computer yesterday because my other one said goodbye. So, all right, so here we are. So a lot of people ask why there is a Center for Women Veterans. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about the Center for Women Veterans, but I was also asked to talk about military, how the military has helped empower women, not just veterans, but as a whole. So I have some slides prepared for that. So over the years, people have asked, why do we need a Center for Women Veterans? Both women and men have asked that question, veterans and non-veterans. And I think that this sign speaks volumes about why we need a Center for Women Veterans. These notes are why we need a Center for Women Veterans. A lot of you women veterans have experienced something similar to that. Women get notes like this on their car when they park in reserved veteran parking at Lowe's or other places. And as long as women are not recognized as veterans, as long as women get notes like this and are challenged as veterans, we need a Center for Women Veterans. We need organizations like Operation Sisterhood. In a 2016 survey by the Service Women's Action Network, 74% of the respondents said that the general public did not recognize their service. And that matters, quite a lot. So the Center for Women Veterans, we were established in 1994 by Congress, along with the Center for Minority Veterans. So simply put, we work to ensure that women are recognized for their service in the military and that they are receiving equitable services both within and outside the VA. And this is accomplished primarily through our mandate to advise the Secretary and other leaders to disseminate that information widely and to support the Advisory Committee on Women Veterans. One of the ways we disseminate that is through our social media, and another way is through our monthly partner meetings. We also have, our vision, of course, who doesn't have a vision? And that vision is simply to modernize the center, extend its outreach, and ensure equity. But we do have some focus areas of outreach, internal advocacy, research, and performance management and accountability. And we've started increasing our research in the last year. And I'm going to talk about some of the research that we're doing in a slide later. And I think that you're all going to be excited about some of that. So stay tuned for that. So there are currently 2 million women veterans, and we are growing. Women are actually enlisting in the military at a higher rate than men, and women of color in particular are enlisting at a higher rate. So we're currently 10% of the veteran population, 15% of the US active duty force, 18% of the National Guard and Reserve, and 20% of all new military recruits. So it's actually anticipated that we'll be 18 to 20% of the veteran population by 2040. And I always like to talk about this because everybody has to be prepared for that influx of women veterans into their services, into their medical services, into their benefit services, into whether they're working on housing or peer support, or whether they're a small veteran serving organizations, whether it's the VA or a partner. People need to be prepared for the fact that more women are going to be coming into their services. And how do they prepare their environment, their employees, their programs, literally everything? Because I always say, people assume that men are veterans and they assume that women are not. And male is the default veteran. So what we need to do is when we say veteran, literally it's default male. So how do we look at our programs and understand that when we say we have a veteran serving program, what we're saying is we have a white male veteran serving program? How do we shift that mindset and start looking at analyzing our programs and thinking, is our program really serving women veterans? Is it really serving Black women veterans? Is it really serving Latina women veterans? Is it serving our full women veteran population, our lesbian veteran population, our full LGBTQ? Is it serving all of our veteran population the way it could be, or is it serving that default male population? So when we think about the fact that our women veteran population is growing, how do we examine our programs to really make sure that it's gender specific and focusing on that growing women veteran population? So how do we engage and connect? We do it through outreach. advocacy and research. And advocacy is actually in our mandate. We intercede on behalf of women veterans who are encountering hurdles. So if you're with the VA and you get an email from the Center for Women Veterans, it's because that's part of our mandate. If we get an Ask VA request from a woman veteran, it is our job to send out an email and say, hey, we got this email from a woman veteran, and we're now on her behalf inquiring about what she asked us to inquire about. We conduct outreach. We have 2 outreach staff who go out to events, to the DAV National Conference, the Vietnam Veterans of America National Conference, et cetera. We make sure we do it. We have one of the most active social media pages for the VA, to make sure that women veterans are finding out about things. So if you are doing something big, please let us know. Send out Missing the Chalice, and you'll see her information on the last slide, or one of the last slides. She's an amazing outreach manager. If you have anything you want us to share for women veterans, please do let us know. We share whatever we can when it comes to women veterans. And we do a lot of research so we can make sure that women veterans are represented. I remember several years ago when I first started, it was so frustrating because I kept hearing, oh, there aren't enough women veterans for us to do research on them. And I kept saying, but there are 2 million of us. Of course, there's enough. And that has changed, thankfully. But we're really working hard to make sure that women are represented in that. And sometimes we'll reach out and say, we've been contacted and we need some women veterans to engage in this research. And we participate in webinars, social media engagement, and Facebook Live events, website engagement, and email. Some of the things that we do around tables, we've done these. We're working on putting one together for the Guam and Philippines. We try to recognize that women veterans don't exist just in the continental United States. We're working on how do we make sure that we're also reaching the women who are in the territories and in other countries. We have MOAs with Women Veterans Interactive, Minority Veterans of America, Library of Congress, and others. We have internal partnerships with the IDEA, Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Access Subcouncil. And we recently started working with the Pacific Region Working Group participation to make sure that we're reaching women in the Mariana Islands, the Guam, and the Philippines, so that because they don't have great services out there. So how can we make sure that we're working with them? In the survey that I'll talk about later, you'll hear me talk about the fact that we had that translated into Tagalog, so that the women who do speak that primary language first can take that survey in their first language. And we have a close collaboration, of course, with the Center for Minority Veterans. So how do we engage with our VA partners? We do that so we can make sure that we can share that updated information. That policies and programs shift. We turn to our partners at Women's Health quite frequently, so we can make sure that our partners, for instance, we will oftentimes have our partners from Women's Health come to our partnership meetings once a month and report out. You'll find that we have them come, especially during Sexual Assault Awareness Month, during Domestic Violence Awareness Month, during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We will have them come and speak. If we know that there have been changes to women's health programs, we will invite them to come and speak about what those changes are and why they're important, so that our partners can get those out to women veterans and to partners. We get that bilateral feedback on trends and insights from partners. So if our partners are saying, this is what we're hearing from the field, we also get that out to our internal partners. And we work in an advisory capacity related to gender and racial cultural appropriateness in the areas of policy, health, mental health, claims, and research. We think that's really important. When we talk about gender, we don't just do it through a single lens. We do it through an intersectional lens, recognizing that women aren't just women. Women are Black women. Women are Asian. Women are lesbian women, Black women. we work to make sure that transgender women have a place in the VA. We try diligently to make sure that when we get a views document, we're looking at through that lens. When we get a document about housing, we're looking at it through that lens. How does this housing policy affect all women veterans? Is it going to work for transgender women veterans? Is it going to work for Black women veterans who are, or for Native women veterans who are in rural areas? So we really attempt to use our intersectional lens when we're serving in an advisory capacity. Some of the campaigns we've done, we've done the hashtag Bring Women Veterans Home to VA. There are 2 million women veterans, but only approximately 800,000 are enrolled with the VA, and 500,000 are using the VA. We recognize that a lot of women may have other like health insurance, but we also recognize that some women may just not be using the VA. And in many ways, the VA might be better for women veterans. For instance, in suicide ideation, women who use the VA are better off. And so how can we do a better job of bringing women to the VA? And especially women, connecting women to their benefits is so helpful for women veterans. You know, that money is tax-free. Women veterans who don't use their benefits are leaving money on the table. They're leaving their housing, their VA loans on the table. They're leaving so many benefits on the table. And I'm passionate about making sure that women are doing that. So how do we work together to make sure that women veterans are getting the benefits that they earned and deserved? And we use the I Am Not Invisible campaign in a lot of ways to make sure that women understand that they served and they deserve those benefits and come on and get them. Even if you choose not to use VA benefits. When I was in Oregon, I would hear women and men also say, no, I have health insurance. But then what happened, for instance, was COVID. And people lost their jobs and they lost their health insurance. And there was, those of you who work in benefits probably remember that there was quite a lot of people started applying for their benefits during COVID. People lost their health insurance. And then they were at a place where they thought, oh my goodness, I need to apply for my health insurance. And I witnessed a lot of people. I had just been at a stand down right before COVID, and the same people who said, no, I have health insurance, were calling me and saying, how do I apply for my benefits? If we have our health benefits and we have health insurance right now, if we have our service-connected disability benefits, we have that cushion. We have that money cushion. We have that health insurance cushion, so that even if something happens to our job, that's something that we have that we can fall back on when we need it. And that's one of the reasons I'm passionate about connecting veterans to their benefits. The research we're doing, we're just completing the 2020 NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, mandated that we complete a study on 9/11 women veterans and unemployment, because the rate of unemployment among 9/11 women veterans is higher. And we're really excited about that. We a little peer into it. One of the things that we did, because I've worked with women veterans so long, I understood that there were reasons that women are unemployed besides training and the basic things that people had examined. So one of the things that I said was, let's look at mental health, MST, and other barriers to employment. So we included that as our variables in that study, and I think it's going to be a really impressive study when we release it. We're also doing an intimate partner violence study that we were mandated to complete. That will be released in December. And we are doing a study of women veterans who don't use VA services and benefits. That was something that I wanted to do from the time I came on, and we finally got approval to do it, and we released it in November. And it's really strictly for women who aren't using their VA services and benefits. And we released that in November. We've already had almost 9,000 women complete that survey. And so we're really excited about we're going to release those preliminary numbers in April at our partners meeting. So we do a Women Veterans Day event every June 12th. And we're doing another one this year. We have a initiative called Naming VA Spaces, where that VA facilities can take one space in their building and rename it for a woman veteran. We do MOAs, outreaching events, etc. And we engage on social media, all social media. I found out we even have a Pinterest account. Oops, sorry. Uh-oh. And then, of course, we have our advisory committee and women veterans, and we engage in special events. And the I Am Not Invisible campaign, we're also working with the Library of Congress to do the 3.0, the Veterans History Project. If you weren't able to catch our Facebook Live event the other night, you can see it on the Library of Congress Facebook page. If you haven't told your Veterans History Project story, please do. It's so important that we tell our own stories. As one woman said, we get the chance to tell history right. So please tell your story. You can reach out to our office or to the Library of Congress to find out how you can tell your story. And then the survey, we have translated it into English or into Spanish and Tagalog. So if you want to find out how you can share that survey, here's the link. It'll be on the slide. You can also contact me or anyone in our office, and we can tell you how to do that. It's a really important survey, so please feel free to share. So now I'm going to talk about empowerment. This is how I'm going to finish it up. This is Virginia Woolf, is one of my favorite authors. The history of most women is hidden either by silence or flourishes in ornaments that amount to silence. And I love that quote because I think that it applies to a lot of women and especially to women veterans. So I like the slide because it talks a lot about the women in our history who have done things and are not are invisible. Cathay Williams, she was a Buffalo Soldier. And I talk about this because these women did empower other women who were in the military, and they empowered women after them. And I think that's really important. Cathay Williams was a woman who disguised herself as a man, William Cathay, and served as Buffalo Soldier. Many people don't realize that there was a woman who was a Buffalo Soldier. Sarah Emma Edmonds, people always think about Dr. Mary Edwards Walker when they think about women who served in our history, and that's where they stop. Ola Mildred Rexroth, she's a Native woman who was a WASP. So we really have to expand our mind when we think about women in our military history. And this one, the big thing about this slide that I want to talk about when I talk about empowerment is that during the reason that World War I women serving was important is there were 200,000 women who served during World War I. And I'm going to tell you why that was important and how that helped empower women who weren't in the military, is that those women serving helped establish the right to vote. Suffragists and the women in the military used this phrase: if you're good enough for war, you're good enough to vote. And both the women serving and the suffragists used that phrase. And in his speech, September 30th, 1918, President Woodrow Wilson, who was opposed to the women's right to vote, said, "We have made partners of the women in this war. Shall we admit them only to a partnership of suffering and sacrifice and toil, and not to a partnership of privilege?" So that really is a perfect first example of how actively women who served empowered women throughout this country. And when we talk about women in Vietnam, there were 11,000 military women deployed in Vietnam. And oftentimes during the Vietnam commemoration celebrations, those women are forgotten. There are 8 women killed in combat, and their names are on the wall. And I think that's really important. But when we talk about the Vietnam War in particular, I'm going to go straight into the women's empowerment. And I love this quote as well: "Some women are lost in the fire and some are built from it." And I think that's really true of women veterans, because we don't let a lot stop us. And those of you online who are veterans, you get that. So in 1970, there was a woman named Susan Struck. She was in during Vietnam, and she was a US Air Force captain. And she became pregnant. And during that, prior to 1975, women who got pregnant during their military service were forced to discharge or have, and they gave her a choice, discharge or have an abortion. And so she said, not today, son. And so she struck versus Secretary of Defense. Ruth Bader Ginsburg argued it for her and said it violated a woman's reproductive rights, equal protection, and due process, and also said it was economical and unwise to dismiss an officer. So she won. It set the standard for sex-based. It didn't actually go to the Supreme Court, although it was set to. The Solicitor General recommended the Air Force waive the discharge and change its policy, and they did. But before the DoD actually changed its policy in 1976, more than 7,000 women were discharged for pregnancy. But this did set the standard for sex-based discrimination is not permitted under the law. So in 1972, RBG brought it again. So the Air Force had a policy, the military had a policy that said, unlike wives, a husband had to be, in order to be considered independent, had to have at least half of his material support come from his military wife. Sharon Frontero sought the with dependent rate for her housing, as well as medical and dental benefits for her civilian husband. And the Air Force said no, because he's got to get at least half of his material support. And RBG said no. So she actually quoted this when it became Frontero versus Richardson. She quoted this: "I ask no favor for my sex. All I ask for our brethren is that they take their feet off of our necks." So she, at that time, was an ACLU attorney and successfully argued that sex was a suspect criterion, and the military's stance amounted to discrimination against women members and did not pass constitutional muster. After that, the military was forced to pay the same benefits to both men and women, and it was considered a landmark case for gender equality. Fast forward to 1995, 347 young women went after the Virginia Military Institute about their discriminatory policy admitting only men. At the time, that was the only public institution still discriminating against women, allowing only men. And Department of Justice found their practice unconstitutional. It was overturned by the District Court, and the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals reversed that, holding the practice was indeed unconstitutional. In steps United States versus Virginia. And Justice Ginsburg, at that time, was on the Supreme Court and asked the Solicitor General, if women are to be leaders in life and in the military, then men have got to become accustomed to taking commands from women, and men won't become accustomed to that if women are not let in. And it was found by SCOTUS that the Women's Institute would prevent women from attaining equal opportunities, and that Justice Ginsburg wrote that the court effectively struck down all law which denies women simply because they are women. So these three cases really were seminal cases that directly impacted all cases related to equity and equality for women later. Although they were directly related to women in military, it reached further impacting all women. So this is just an example. These three cases were directly related to those three cases, because those three cases were used to argue these cases. So this is just an example of how women in the military were really used to empower women everywhere. So, this is, I know I think I'm out of time now. So just quickly.
No, please share, because this is very interesting. I'm loving this.
Women's military history is my thing. So after some of those things changed, the women in the military continued to rise. The percentage, there was always a cap. Even after the draft ended, there was a cap, but that cap was released. It was President Carter was a very progressive president. So he started changing the number of women who could be in, he expanded the number of enlistments, or the number of jobs that were available for women. Reagan came in and dismantled some of those policies, but when women can, we do. We just kept pushing at it and pushing at it and pushing at it. The numbers continued to rise. Women continued to enlist at higher numbers. Women were admitted to the service academies. And the interesting thing about this is that women were doing the work. They were going into combat missions. They were deploying during, in 1991 and 92, they were deploying during the first Gulf War. They were flying this mission. But in 1994, Congress said, yeah, no, let's slow the roll. And they put in the combat exclusionary policy. They said women had to be excluded from assignments to units below the brigade level, whose primary mission was to engage in direct combat. And that seemed harmless, just like don't ask, don't tell on the surface seemed harmless. But what that meant was it didn't just mean we couldn't be in infantry units. It meant we couldn't do any job that might put us in anything that seemed like it might be in combat. And so that didn't just affect us there directly. It meant a lot. It meant that women, everyone in the military knows that women can't, if you can't be in combat, that can affect your ability to promote. It can affect your pay. It can affect your retirement, your retirement. It long-term affects women. It can also, what we discovered, affect your ability to get service-connected disability benefits. And the Lionesses are a good example of that. Because when the Lionesses started in 2003, they were attached to combat teams. And they went into combat areas and they were on the ground with the combat engagement teams. And they came home with their brothers that they had served with. And they said, I was in combat. And that VA said, no, you aren't, women aren't in combat. And so they were being denied combat service-connected disability benefits, as were many of the women who were in Iraq. And so because of this combat exclusionary policy, women were finding more and more, especially post 9/11, that they were being denied, as were some of the first Gulf War women, they were being denied benefits, combat benefits. So that combat exclusionary policy was exceedingly harmful to women in many, many ways. But of course, women continued women we don't let stuff like that stop us. We just keep going anyway. We keep raising our hand and saying, send me, I'll go, because that's what we do. So women were, we got the first command, Sergeant Leanne Hester got the Silver Star, Monica Lynn Brown, the Silver Star, General Ann Dunwoody, the first to Chief 4-star. And when we think about this, when we think about the reality of this, imagine what a man would say if it took him from the American Revolution until 2008 to get 4-star officer ranks. if it had taken a man that many hundreds of years to get a 4-star rank when they'd been serving all those years, it took women. We've been serving that long and women have done amazing things, but it took that long, but still we did what we did. And it took from 2003 until 2009 for them to formally establish the female engagement teams, even though they started them in 2003. So Tammy Jo Schultz is really what she did. This was a result of women. She was a woman who landed that crippled Southwest airline plane, and she was one of the first women fighter pilots in the U.S. Navy. And I think that when these things happen, it's important to say, yeah, our sister did that. And in January 2013, Leon Panetta, who will forever be one of my favorite secretaries of defense, he on his way out the door, he said, oh, and by the way, I'm going to get rid of the combat exclusionary policy. And a lot of people huffled and puffled about that. They were unhappy about that, but he did it anyway. And as a result, in 2016, Kristen Geist and Shay Haber became the first Rangers. And I cried that day because when I was in basic training in 1990 or 1978, I said, I want to be a Ranger. And they used a lot of curse words and said, go away, Estabrooks. Girls will never be Rangers, not in this man's army, not now, not ever. And so this was a big day because it was a turning moment in this country. And so since then, women have continued to make history doing all of this, and the numbers have grown, and women's history is happening right now, and it's something that we should celebrate every single day. So the rest of the slides, we have apps, we have resources. So I would encourage you, these are, and I want to talk about our staff women's history. Shannon Middleton, Lourdes, our director, is an Air Force veteran. Shannon Middleton is a Navy veteran. Messina Chalice is a Navy veteran. Anna Claudio is a Navy veteran. Michelle Terry is not a veteran. She is a proud mother of a Navy veteran. She has been with our office 14 years. And Julia Kelly is a retired command sergeant major. So with the Army, go Army. And that's it. This is our email is a 00W. So thank you for allowing me to go over, and thank you for having me here today. And if anybody has any questions, please do email.
Thank you. Thank you. Connecting veterans to their benefits is why we do what we do and conduct events like this. You mentioned over 2 million women veterans, and they are entitled to the same benefits as our male counterparts. So I thank you for those words. And who would have thought RBG? RBG. I learned something today. She is more connected to women veterans that I ever even imagined. Great information. I'm just so pumped. Thank you, Madam Director, for taking the time out this morning to share that information and insight. We're truly grateful for your service to veterans, to women veterans, and definitely to our nation. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, female veterans rock.
Yes, thank you.
Drop the mic. We rock. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge one of my favorites. You know who you are. We're going to have remarks from the chair of New Jersey Military and Veterans Affairs Committee, Assemblywoman Cleopatra Tucker. Ma'am, the floor is yours for some brief remarks, and thank you for joining us this morning.
I apologize for joining in late. I'm not in. I didn't realize that I went on my assembly page to log in, and I realized I wasn't in the office. And then I had to switch everything to my personal stuff to get in. But I do apologize for the lateness. And I just wanted to say I'm always proud to be invited to give remarks here for our women veterans. And this is a learning experience for me, since I'm not a veteran. I just chair the Military and Veterans Committee. My husband was in the military, and I'm also interested in learning everything I can about what's going on with our women veterans, because I give my full support and try to direct my committee to support everything that I bring up in reference to women veterans here in the state of New Jersey. So I'll be here listening and learning like everybody else, because I need to learn more and more so I can help. The more I learn, the more I can help. Thank you.
Thank you again. Definitely, this is a learning experience. And as I mentioned earlier today, we will hear from a diverse panel of speakers that will share key information, important information about various services offered by VA, as well as our community partners for female veterans. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce several of our breakout presenters who will provide very brief remarks regarding the services they provide. Several of our presenters will be conducting informational seminars during our breakout sessions this morning. So please listen carefully to our presenters. The first up is Christy Aponte from VA, who will be talking about VA benefits. Just a brief few words, please.
Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here today amongst all of you wonderful ladies, and to hear all of this fabulous information that just was bestowed upon me. I feel so empowered right now. It's incredible. Like Jennifer mentioned, my name is Christy, and I am from Newark Regional Office. And yes, we are number one. She wanted to be bashful, but we are number one. We stay number one every single month. Newark is an amazing regional office. We are tough, we work hard, and like she said, we are 70% veteran served. I'm sorry, veteran empowered to serve 100% of our veterans. There you go, I got my words right. And I have the pleasure this morning, I believe in session 1, to talk about the VA compensation process, what we can do for you, what we actually do for you, what we need from you, and to help you get through that compensation claim process that can seem so overwhelming at times, but is not. And we are here to help you, to advocate for you, and to help you get through it. So I look forward to talking with all of you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Next, we'll hear from Daniel Feliciano, and he's going to speak a little bit about MST Claims. Daniel?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I just wanted to mention real quick, I'm still waiting for my honorary membership card to the women's group. Okay, I didn't forget about that. I know I don't meet the qualifications, but I'm trying. Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel Feliciano. I am the military service trauma coordinator for the state of New York. I do work at the New York regional office. We do have a female coordinator as well. Her name is Ms. Karina Vasquez. And we became coordinators back in 2019 when they restarted the process for military sexual trauma cases. We really focused on them back in 2019. And every year we've progressed. Now there's 8 stations across the nation that are tasked to work these claims specifically, and we are one of those stations. So today I'm just going to go over the process for filing a claim based on military sexual trauma, what some of the things we look for are, what the forms are, and the types of special monthly compensation you can receive based on military sexual trauma. So thank you for having me. I'm very honored to be here to talk to you ladies today, and I'll see you all soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next we'll hear from about VR&E Services, Yvonne Nelson.
Hello, good morning to all. Happy Saturday. I'm sure everyone could think of something else they could be doing on this rainy day, like maybe catching a few movies, catching up on stuff. But either way, happy Women's Month to all of you women and all honorary men who want to be women this month. And to all the female veterans, thank you all for your courage and service. Hopefully this month in June in New Jersey, we can give you a really big celebration after 2 years of the pandemic lockdown. So VR&E, formerly known and endearingly called Voc Rehab, it's now Veterans, Readiness, and Employment Services. So we're taking out that rehab stigma out of that. And it's for veterans and service members who have a disability rating of 10% or more. And our job is to help you navigate through, transition from military to civilian employment. As one of my coworkers used to say, to get you trained so you can pay taxes like the rest of us. And our mission is to assist veterans with service-connected disabilities, this the mission, prepare for, obtain, and maintain, and the underlying gist is suitable employment and or for them to live as independently as possible. We've had so many changes in the last year or so as it relates to VR&E. So hopefully we can get to some of those in the breakout session. But the takeaway here is, if you're not sure if you're eligible and you have at least 10%, you should apply. The form is always available on eBenefits, and that's where the best place you can actually apply for it. The main goals I said, and what we do is, unlike Chapter 33, we cover 100% of all your tuition and fees and all your approved books and supplies. And you also get a monthly allowance. Now, if you're eligible for post 9/11, you also get that amount called the basic allowance for housing. You would get that under Chapter 31 as well. Now, each person is different, and each person.
Wait. Yvonne, don't
Yes.
give away all the cookies.
Oh,
Don't give away all the cookies. Okay.
I have lots of cookies.
You just give them a taste. and then make them
Okay.
hungry so they'll come back for more.
All
Okay? All
Okay.
right. So that if you're interested on VR&E in education, we're going to hear a little bit about education briefly. Definitely that's a breakout session that you definitely want to sign up for. So with that, great segue into education services. Sherry Sinibaldi, the floor is yours.
Hi, good morning. I am glad that I was able to finally get in and join all of you.
Yes.
From what I heard, from what I was able to hear, it was great. I learned some things that I didn't know. So, and as an Air Force veteran, the Air Force is near and dear to my heart. So that was great information. I am Sherrill Sinibaldi. I work at the Buffalo Regional Office. And I will be talking to all of you in my breakout session about all of the education benefits, to include Chapter 33. But we have a multitude of benefits that, not only veterans, but veteran family members can apply for. So, I will answer any questions that you may have and give you all tons of information of the various benefits that we do offer and can apply for.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, we will hear from Women's Health, Dr. Robinson Jasper.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me join you this morning for your women's event. My name is Dr. Nancy Roberson Jasper. I happen to be a practicing gynecologist out of J.J. Peters VA Medical Center in Bronx, New York. And it's a privilege that you all have invited me to come and join you this morning. I think through Deputy Estabrooks' talk, she spoke about your ability to be VA connected with your medical care. And she brought up the fact that many of you have health insurance outside of the VA, which you use for much of your care. But I would like to hopefully, through discussions this morning, show you why it's to your advantage to use your VA medical insurance and to gain your health care through the VA system. The VA has done a lot over the past several years. I personally am not a veteran, sorry to say. I wish that I could have had the opportunity to serve. But you all have access to excellent health care through the VA system. And there are many services that are available to you. And I think that you all should be aware of what your benefits are. And that includes everything from some of the obvious, such as contraception, which many have accessed during their active duty times, to some infertility services and beyond. So we're going to cover some of that this morning in our breakout session. So I'm going to save those little nuts and bolts until that time and hope that you all will join us this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Roberson Jasper. Next, we're going to hear from Louisa Sanchez about nutrition. Louisa?
Yes, hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Louisa. I'm here as a certified nutritionist today. And thank you for being here in this beautiful, snowy, rainy Saturday. Yes. As you know, women, we are the last on our list, especially when it comes to health. We usually feel guilty about not taking care of others. So I'm glad we're here. And today on session 1, I'm going to talk briefly about nutrition and how can we better our health.
Thank you. Thank you, Louisa. Appreciate that. Some good information that's going to be shared today. And next, Kadeen Bishop, are you on the line?
I'm here.
Okay,
good morning,
the floor
everyone.
Is yours. Yes.
Good morning. Do you want me to do the whole PowerPoint or wait for the breakout session for later?
Your breakout session for later, just to introduce yourself and let everybody know that you're here and just a little taste of your topic. Just a brief taste.
Absolutely.
Don't give away the cookies.
Okay, I'll keep it brief. Absolutely. Thank you all. I feel honored to share space with all you wonderful women. So I will be talking today and introducing the Intimate Partner Violence Assistance Program to the women who are not aware. So every single VA nationally has an Intimate Partner Violence Assistance Program. I am the coordinator for the VA New Jersey's healthcare system program. And essentially what we do is that we work with veterans, caregivers, and employees who are using or experiencing IPV. And just to give a quick nugget, VA adopted CDC terminology, so they were intentional about saying intimate partner violence and not domestic violence, because we wanted to make sure that we captured all types of relationships. And it wasn't just for individuals who were cohabitating or living together. They also de-stereotyped this program, so we never talked about survivors, abusers, or perpetrators, because we wanted to influence treatment. So stop there, and then during a breakout session later, I'm hoping that we have a fair amount of individuals so we can have a spirited discussion, and I'll share the resources, services, and programs that we offer under IPV.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from the Vet Center. We have, and I'm going to say it, one of our hidden jewels. See, I said it. Scott Dayan, you're going to talk about Vet Center services. Again, just a little bit. Don't go into your full presentation because you want them hungry for more.
Well, we can the hidden jewel, the crown jewel, I think it was last time.
Crown jewel, yes, the crown jewel.
So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me and here to talk with such an important group of veterans that oftentimes gets neglected, and we're all here to try and fix that. The Vet Center, it was created out of a similar level of neglect for Vietnam veterans coming home who knew that they were suffering through something that didn't have a name yet in PTSD, and the VA was lacking in what was provided and supported for them. So from that need and veterans doing what we do often, taking care of each other, vet centers were born as a peer-to-peer type model of counseling, where who better to understand what someone has experienced than someone who experienced it themselves, or similar at least. So from that foundation, we've grown and expanded to treat essentially all different types of trauma. So combat trauma, military sexual trauma, things that are combat adjacent, like combat support, mortuary affairs, drone operations, and recently we've expanded to include National Guard soldiers with state activations, including the COVID-19 pandemic mobilizations that happened last year, and reservists who have mental health concerns related to that dual life that you live as a civilian and a reservist. So there are many counseling centered things that we offer, including service to family members as well as a veteran. In my position in outreach, I help with coordinating veterans to all these other services that you're learning about today, and trying to explain as much as I can to try and ease the stress of what can often be an overwhelming process. I am a Navy veteran. I did have the privilege of serving with some very strong female sailors in the mechanical reactor machinery division that I was in on an aircraft carrier. So with my peers, there was no difference in ability or perception, within our workspace. And I would have hoped to know that it was like that across the military. Unfortunately, I've learned that it wasn't. And also, just to throw it out there, I am a proud girl dad. I have three triplet daughters. So I have learned a lot in their 9 years of how representation matters for women and young girls, and some of the challenges that men are going to encounter when you're raising young girls. But working with some of the strong women and women veterans that I've gotten to know over my time here. I think that's helped me in things that I want to be able to teach my girls so they grow up to be strong like some of the women I've gotten to know. So look forward to being able to share more information with you all later.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. We appreciate you taking the time out to share some information with us. We have the next presenter is from Employment Readiness, Vet Jobs, and I'm not sure if Sandy's still on the line. He had another briefing. Sandy, you on? We're a little bit ahead of schedule, so I may just circle back to him when he's able to join us. Next, we will hear about debt management, finances, money. Oh, Sandy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Okay.
All right.
If you can just give a very brief overview of what you're going to talk about during your session, that would be great.
You got it. Hey, I apologize for my camera not working. And hey, before I get started, and my camera's been going in and out anyway. I want to say I truly appreciate what the women of this great nation have done, serving in our military, serving side by side with me. I'm an Army veteran myself, 30 years. And I just really, from my heart to yours, I appreciate what you do, what you've experienced. And we are here to assist you in any way we can. Vet jobs and military spouse jobs are the premier employment, military veteran and spouse employment organization in the world. We provide free, everything we do is free, no cost employment and career progression assistance with partners that provide free things, training, education, etc. And then we get you hired. So that's who we are. We have a wonderful system, a wonderful tool. We are all veterans or spouses here at Vet Jobs, and we work virtually to help you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. So please, if you're looking for employment opportunities, best way to get on with the company, key information, that is definitely a breakout session that you want to participate and sign up for. Now, as I was saying earlier, debt management, money. We all have debt. We're all trying to get rid of debt. So Anna, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Anna, and I am the founder of Financial Wisdom Solutions. And I am actually I'm on terminal leave right now, so I'm right in the middle of retirement. And so I am a veteran of the U.S. Army. And I just want to, first of all, thank everyone, every fellow woman veteran out there for all your sacrifice, all your service, and just for being here today. It just shows that you are taking time out to just better yourself, get more information, get more education, and hopefully you'll be able to execute everything that you learn, because that's the most important part. So what I do is I help people take control of their finances so that they can achieve financial peace, prosperity, independence, like all the different things that we want in life, right? That way we can live the type of life that everyone deserves. And in today's breakout session, we will talk through just different strategies to get your debt under control. I'll give you practical steps that you can take so you can walk away with a plan and tools to kick that debt to the curb, like we used to say. Because the hard fact is that unless you get your finances under control, which is something that we're all going to have to deal with for the rest of our lives, you will never be able to live the type of life that you want. And like Lisa said, as mothers and women, we usually put ourselves last. And if you're like most of the women that I know in my life, women usually take control of the finances in a relationship, in the household. And so I just want to give you some tools, some resources that you can use so that when you're done with our session, you'll be able to have a plan formulated to be able to get out of debt. So I hope you will join me. I have the third breakout session, and looking forward to seeing you, to hearing from you. Thank you.
Awesome. Who is up next? Jackie, do we have any other other presenters? If not, I know we have some additional folks on the line. Some of our
I think we might have
partners.
skipped over Esther from Demava.
Okay, Demava, Esther, I'm so sorry. Please
Oh,
forgive
you
me.
in big trouble. You in big trouble.
Please forgive me. Esther, no.
No.
No. The floor is yours.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I have to say, I like this. I'm home and relaxed, and I didn't have to drive with this weather today. So that was definitely a plus. But I definitely miss seeing everybody's face and seeing everybody in person. So I'm so happy to be here. Just a brief, my name is Esther. I work with Demava with the State of New Jersey Men's Veterans Affairs, and I am what is called a Veteran Service Officer. So in our presentation, I believe I'm going to be with compensation. We're going to talk about how can we help you process that claim and help you represent you to process that claim with the VA. So you could have an advocate there helping you through the process and managing and, just keeping you in track and with all the paperwork that needs to be done. So please join us if you have any question, so you could get some information about it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. We have a number of community partners. U.S. Family Health Services, U.S. Family Health Plan. Daryl, yes, glad that you were able to join us.
Thank you so much.
If you can give some information about insurance, health, TRICARE.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. And thank you, Jennifer, and your whole team. And much respect to all women veterans, and to thank you for the privilege of really being at and sharing in this great event. I'm just going to talk very briefly about TRICARE, because U.S. Family Health Plan is a TRICARE prime option, as the slide says. And what that means, it's not a supplement, not an alternative, not something different from TRICARE. It is TRICARE. And you may know Humana Military, which covers the eastern half of the United States and provides the healthcare benefits to active duty and their family, military retirees and their families, Guard and Reserve and their families. And the different programs that you qualify for under the TRICARE ages are based upon what your status is at any given point, what your orders are saying. I heard someone say that they were retiring, coming up to retirement. That's covered, those kinds of things. And what you're eligible for is reflected in DEERS, and we can check on that. But I want you to be aware today, and I'm available today to answer questions concerning that about TRICARE. And that's what U.S. Family Health Plan is, and what we are committed and dedicated to. That's the only thing that we do. And we can speak to you concerning that, even up to and including TRICARE for life. We don't do that, but we can tell you about it and help you with that transition after you finish, after you get to that golden age, 65 and over, and that kind of thing. And so just want you to be aware of that. We are available for calls today. I think we have the number up there. They'll should be able to see it, or I'll put it online. And I will take calls today up until the end of today's session. And if you want me in a breakout, I'll do that as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And he said his numbers on the chat, on the slide, 1-800-241-4848, option 3. Again, 1-800-241-4848, option 3. Thank you. Next up, Vets Chat and Chew. Anne. Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. Hey, Anne, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's been a while. I haven't seen you in some time.
I know we haven't had too much to go to. There's very few outreach.
Not face to face, but we try and do it as much as we can virtually. But
yeah. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. And I just want to talk about the Vets Chat and Chew program. It was started by me for women veterans only. It has since branched out. The men, because it was so successful, men attend, and so do spouses, and we've had children attending. So I really appreciate the fact that children are going to be, the children of veterans are going to be the future service people. So anyway, I just wanted to quickly give you a rundown about the program. It's a program about nutrition. And one of the things that's missing is that veterans have very bad nutrition. Basically, you're under chronic stress 24/7 when you serve in the military. And you have very little time to recover from these stresses. And one of the things that happens is, as you come out of the military, this continues. This chronic stress doesn't go away because it has become a temporary thing. And a lot of it stems from nutritional and digestive deficits. And one of the things that the Vets Chat and Chew program does is teach you how to heal in a natural way. And we give you information about food, how it makes you feel, how to select food, how to prepare it. You cook with a professional chef, and there's a nutritionist there where you have access to a nutritionist throughout the whole program. The program is 6 weeks. Veterans come once a week for 6 weeks. And it's for 1 hour, for 2 hours once a week. And you receive we're doing 2 different venues. One is in person and the other is the virtual. I haven't switched over yet to the in-person because I'm a little leery. You're cooking together, you're working together, and you know, in the spring, people have allergies, they're sneezing and coughing. You know, you really need to be careful. You don't know if it's COVID or you don't know if it's just allergies. But anyway, to make a long story short, you get, in the virtual programs, you get an honorarium of $20 each week to buy the ingredients. And in the in-person program, you get a $20 honorarium for travel expenses, plus you get all the ingredients to take home. And it's been a very successful program. Many of the veterans have lost weight, have better doctor reports, diabetes numbers come down. You feel less depressed, less anxious, and it's a really important part of the healing process. I'm not a veteran, but I really, really appreciate all of your service. And I just want to say there is a program starting April 20th for women veterans only. It's just for women veterans. And I do this at least once or twice a year for the women veterans. So I will put the information into the chat. And if you're interested in attending the program in April, just call. I only put the information out this week. I already have 10 people, so they fill up very fast. We take 25 in a group. So if you're interested, just give me a call. I'll put the number in the chat. And thank you again, all of you, for your service. And thank you for letting me introduce this. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Ann. And I would be remiss. I know that you have one of your graduates or attendees, actually 2, on the line. Margie or Songbird Margie.
Yes. And I forgot to mention Louisa.
Louisa, exactly.
Runs the programs, and Louisa will talk to you at the breakout sessions.
With regard
and Margie,
to,
I was going to send her an email because I love the voice. I had no idea you had such a voice.
Oh, she has a voice, yes.
Beautiful.
And I would like to invite Margie just to give some remarks, a brief, very brief testimonial as to your experience with the Vets Chat and Chew program, because I remember when we initially talked about it and I recommended it to you. And if you could just share that, please.
Definitely. I enjoy the program. I love to cook anyway, and to learn different ways to cook different things I've never tried, like fish branzini. I'd never heard of it, but cooked it, loved it, going to eat it from now on. But learning how to cook healthy, and even the mindfulness that we do, you know, at the end to help us to relax, learning relaxation techniques, the chefs, working with a professional chef, it's just awesome. And then the group, you know, the camaraderie is awesome. I love it. I love it.
Thank you, Margie.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been hearing a lot about it. Margie was raving about it. And I was just so glad that she enjoyed it. I am going to try and sign up for one of the classes because honestly, between you and me, my eating habits are horrible.
Most veterans
Horrible.
are.
I'm going to
They
admit,
are.
you know, I have ice cream in the fridge. I bake brownies. Yeah, it's a sad situation going over
I
going
know,
on
I
over here.
know, I know. Veterans,
Coming
a
over.
lot of veterans usually stay in the diet that you had in the military, which is 4,000 to 7,000 calories a day.
Well, you know, I was in a better place in the military. It's when I retired, I just literally fell off no, I'm not going to say fell off the wagon. I ran from the wagon, and it's not a good picture. It really isn't. Yes.
Thanks
Yeah.
to COVID, where we get to work from home.
And that doesn't help either. You know, I will say the first year of COVID, I was working out, we were walking, we were really doing good. And then when we hit year 2, I was like, oh, beep, you know, threw my hands up in the air.
I know.
And here we are, you know. So yeah, I have to get this COVID weight off. So yeah, I'll be signing up with you.
Women's Month. It's a good time to start Women's Month.
Yes. So thank
it's
you.
a lot of fun.
And I had the opportunity to speak at one of Luis's sessions, and it truly was a lot of fun. I will definitely say that it was informative, it was fun, it was relaxing, the camaraderie, you can't beat it. You can't beat
The
it.
camaraderie is very important. It really is.
Yes. So thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right.
I know we have a couple of other community partners and service organizations that are that have joined us and want to share a little bit about the services that they provide. I think Kelly Bird. Kelly, you were one?
Yes, thank you so much, Jennifer, for allowing me to come on to speak to the group. My name is Kelly Bird. I'm one of the recruitment and missions managers at Empower. I literally was scrolling through different websites because we do serve veteran and veteran spouses, and I stumbled upon this event, and I'm so excited that I did because one, I was just looking to just attend to learn more about the veteran population, and you know, speaking with Jennifer yesterday, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm gonna have to share this amazing program that we have to serve our veterans. Secondly, I just want to just thank you for the veterans that are on the call for your services. And so again, my name is Kelly Bird. I'm one of the recruitment and missions managers at Empower New Jersey, which is a national nonprofit, but I'm located in New Jersey, and I'll drop my contact information in the chat after. But just very high level, Empower is an amazing workforce development program that provides an opportunity for veteran and veteran spouses, as well as young adults, to come in to a free tech training program. Folks that have come into our program have little to no IT experience and walk out of the program very knowledgeable in IT and having an opportunity to be placed in amazing opportunities after that. So here at Empower, we understand, you know, transitioning from, you know, the veteran lifestyle to a civilian lifestyle is could be challenging. And so we offer an opportunity to help in supporting that. So our program is 100% free. It is virtual. You do have an opportunity to, we provide social support. We do provide professional development as well. Your trainings, the IT industry recognized certifications are also free as well. So it's a 23-week program with the first 16 weeks being training and then your placement opportunity after that. So I don't have a breakout session, but I will be dropping my information in the chat if anybody's interested in partnering or any vets that are interested, feel free to reach out to me. And again, thank you, Jennifer, for giving me this space to speak to the crowd.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Jennifer, can I?
Okay, one at a time. I'm sorry.
Jennifer, can I say something?
Yes.
Kelly, I know about your program, about the state, you have representative that come to the stakeholder. And I just want to say, because she doesn't have a breakout room, this program is amazing. We have quite a few veterans who have completed and be placed in job after they complete the program. And it's very successful due to that, they have the support and making sure that the veterans get placed in job after they complete the program. So it's really, really thumbs up.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for those words. And
Yes.
Yvonne, yes, I see you.
Yes, although we give programs, of course, ours is free. We have several veterans who's opted to actually go to Empower. So we have a few graduates from Empower and we've paid them a stipend as well. So,
Awesome. Very good. See, this is it when the community comes together, it's a good thing. Robin Brody.
Hi, thank you.
Hi, yes.
My name is Dr. Brody. I'm a psychologist at Weill Cornell in the Program for Anxiety and Traumatic Stress Studies. And as part of that program, I help co-run the Military Family Wellness Center. And so wanted to come and share just a snippet about our resources. We have free mental health care for veterans and their family members or your family members. The other thing that we have going on right now, which is particularly exciting, is a DoD-funded study treating PTSD subsequent to military sexual trauma. If you or your sisters or anyone you know kind of fits that bill, please consider reaching out to us. The treatment is free. A lot of people we work with might not feel comfortable going to the VA for obvious reasons. And we are all VA trained. And actually the people supervising are the creators of the kind of 2 gold standard evidence-based PTSD treatments. So I will be putting some information in the chat. I will be around as well. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And if you're interested in getting in touch with us for any reason, I will put the contact information in there. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is great just to have this network opportunity where our community partners can share their nuggets to everybody. I truly appreciate that. I see, are there any more individuals that would like to share? Because this is our portion where we're doing a round robin and can allot for sharing of information and resources. And then at 11 o'clock, we're going to go into our breakout sessions and we'll have some information and instructions about the breakouts. But before we go into that, I just want to make sure that we give all of our community partners, stakeholders, the opportunity to share if they have not already.
If I can, Jen, I just wanted to respond to something we're seeing in the chat, which is everybody's recognizing that we have a lot of really wonderful topics for our breakout sessions. And of course, there are 9 and you will only be able to go to 3 because we are all only one being. But I just want to make sure everybody knows that, number one, we are recording the beginning part of this program, which we will be sending you the link to following this event. But also we will be sure to share with you the contact information and, emails and the websites for the folks who are leading the different breakout sessions. So if you would like to follow up with something, we will make it easier for you to do that.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Any other, Yvonne, you had another question or are you good? I see your hand. Is that your hand still raised from last time?
It was? Okay.
Okay.
No more questions.
Okay. Anyone else? Are there any other service providers, additional resources that we've not touched on that we could, that you have the opportunity you want to share? Again, our breakout sessions will begin at 11. Jackie, do you want to give some instruction about that? No, you know what? No, let's back. Open the floor for any questions from our participants. Can we do that, Jackie? And please remember, we're going to stop the recording right now because we want to make sure that if you do share something, your privacy is protected.